Hello, beautiful humans. I'm Jen Madrone, and tonight we're going to talk about the dark night of the soul. Now, this is a term that we're hearing more and more, and it refers to a time period that could be a night or a month or several months of where we experience this spiraling down into darkness, into despair. We kind of lose all purpose and meaning in life, and things don't really make any sense. And we just feel disconnected from everything. We don't understand what's happening. It may be connected to a particular trauma or something very specific in your life that you're working out that's triggered this response. And it's something that is common in the awakening experience. And it can be life shattering in a way. It can put the brakes on everything, make you feel like you can't even get out of bed. Um, but it is very much a part of the spiritual process. And so I wanted to know where this term came from. And so I did some research a little while ago. And I found that it came from a poem written by a 18th century mystic and poet from Spain, and his name was Saint John of the Cross. And the poem originally didn't have a title. It was later titled Dark Night of the Soul. And he never actually used that phrase, but he did use dark night. And the poem describes his journey, his spiritual journey through this darkness. And instead of feeling, when I read this poem, I was expecting to feel that heaviness and that darkness and that depression that is so often associated with the dark night of the soul. But instead, it just so perfectly described the going into the depths and releasing our attachment to everything, and basically dying to all the things that we thought were true in order to connect with the divine, in order to connect with that stillness inside. And it really was a beautiful poem, and it described perfectly the purpose of the dark night of the soul. It's not to torture us, it's not to show us all the things that we did wrong and to make us feel like we can't move through this spiritual awakening process. It's to show us where we can get once we move through that darkness. So it's a really beautiful process of moving through that darkness inside, moving through the shadows, releasing our attachments, and coming to a place of complete stillness and a complete connection with ourselves as the divine. And really, it could be another term for the egoic death process. It to me seems like basically the same thing, because we're losing our attachment to our identity. We're losing our attachment to all the things that we thought were true. We're seeing the illusions, and this is extremely painful and difficult, and really can cause a lot of pain and difficulty in our life until we choose to face it and we choose to look at it. And once we do, we're able to move through that process of egoic death, where our out of balance ego is finally absorbed by our authentic nature. And when that happens, that's when we experience that bliss, we experience that stillness, and we experience that union with the divine. And so the process of the dark night of the soul is extremely useful, even though it's extremely painful. And there's a purpose for it. And so moving through it, not hiding from it, accepting it, and facing it is the only way to reach the other side. And when we can see that there's a purpose for it, then it becomes a little bit easier to maybe sit with the pain or to face it. So it is a really important part of the process. If this is something you're experiencing right now, um, then I'm excited for you because that means you're moving through some big stuff. And if you are wanting some help moving through this part of the process, it can be extremely useful because when we're in that darkness, it can be so hard to find our way out. So if you want some assistance with that process to move back into the light and find that stillness and that connection, then please private message me. We can talk and see if the work that I do with my other clients is a good fit for you. And if you have any questions about this, just leave it in the comments and or in the Facebook feed. All right, that's it for tonight. I hope you guys have a great night, and we will see you in the Facebook group. Bye.